Chapter 1829. Previously there was Long Chun, and now there was Huang Ling, who also mastered the Law of Kings. Her combat strength was amazing, and she defeated her opponent, who was one level higher than her. Ouyang Wuji's face became more and more ugly. Today he invited Ouyang Wushuang and Lu Ming to a banquet. His purpose was to defeat Ouyang Wushuang at the banquet. He wanted to defeat Ouyang Wushuang's side with an overwhelming force. In the end, he would force Ouyang Wushuang to agree to help him fight against Ouyang Wudao when he lost all his confidence. But now, Long Chun and Huang Ling were continuously fighting above their level. The momentum that he had accumulated previously had disappeared. Huang Ling floated down and returned to her seat. Sixth brother, I have said that a high cultivation does not mean a high combat strength. Cultivation is only one of the factors that determine combat strength. There are many factors that determine the strength of combat strength. Ouyang Wushuang said with a carefree smile. Humph, ninth brother, no matter how strong they are only great sage greater mastery. They can defeat a great sage peak, but can they defeat a great sage peak? Is it useful to rely on the two of them in this test? Ouyang Wuji snorted and said indifferently. No matter how strong Long Chun and Huang Ling were, they were only equivalent to two powerful great sage peak. How could they affect the overall situation? The test this time wasn't about who was stronger among those of the same level. What's the hurry? The test is not over yet. Ouyang Wushuang smiled faintly. The test is not over yet? The great sage greater mastery has already competed. Are we going to compete with the great sage lesser mastery? Haha, ninth brother. What's the use of great sage lesser mastery in this test? Are they going to die? Ninth brother. Don't tell me you have invited great sage lesser mastery as well? Ouyang Wuji's continuous questions revealed deep sarcasm. At the same time, his gaze swept across the crowd and finally fell on Lu Ming. On Ouyang Wushuang's side, needless to say, the people of Purple Flame Villa were all great sage peak and great sage peak perfection. Long Chun and Huang Ling had shown their cultivation. The only one who had not shown his cultivation was Lu Ming. If there was another great sage lesser mastery, then it could only be Lu Ming. The others also looked at Lu Ming. Sixth brother, I have said that a high cultivation does not mean a high combat strength. Ouyang Wushuang added. How could I not know this? But there must be a limit to a low cultivation. He is merely a great sage minor mastery. Even if he can fight across a level like the previous two, what's the use? He is just equivalent to a great sage great mastery character. I'm afraid anyone here can defeat him. Ninth brother, at the end of the day, your strength isn't that great. You're still helping me deal with the first prince. I'll say it again, I won't mistreat you. Ouyang Wuji rattled on and on. However, he did not see the expressions of Mo Lang, the Golden Crow Sixth Prince, and the people from the ancient Moon Holy Land, nor did he see the expressions of the people from the Purple Flame Villa. A great sage minor mastery was equivalent to a great sage great mastery at most. To Lu Ming, this was simply impossible. Ouyang Wushuang ignored Ouyang Wuji and looked at Lu Ming, saying, Lu Ming, do you want to play? Alright, let's have some fun. Lu Ming stood up. Big brother Lu Ming, beat them up, chirp chirp. Bubbles waved her little fists and cheered for Lu Ming. This pervert is going to make his move. The people from the Purple Flame Villa looked at Lu Ming with deep fear in their eyes. However, they naturally wouldn't remind Soul Sanctum. Soul Sanctum had humiliated them earlier, and they were happy to see Soul Sanctum suffer a setback. Alright. Lu Ming patted Bubbles' little head and stepped out, landing on the fighting ring. It's this perverted guy. He's a complete piece of trash. Previously, he dared to tease junior sister Autumn Moon on the street, and was sent flying by my palm. Now he's still pretending. A young man from the Soul Holy Temple sneered disdainfully. So it's this guy. How dare he? Another person from the Soul Holy Temple sneered. Everyone, this guy is not simple. Mo Lang from the Sky Wolf Pagoda wanted to warn the Sky Prides from the Soul Holy Temple. What do you mean by not simple? Isn't he just a great saint in the initial stage? Are you looking down on us because we've lost 2 rounds? Yu Ji's gaze swept towards Mo Lang, causing him to shiver. He then shook his head and kept quiet. These people from the Soul Holy Temple were very arrogant and looked down on Mo Lang and the others. During this period, Mo Lang and the others had been ridiculed. Since these people did not listen to him, he was too lazy to say anything. Kid, let me tell you, you're just a great saint in the initial stage. No one here is a great saint in the initial stage. You must challenge them. In 2 days, I'll call a junior brother to play with you. A sky pride from the Soul Holy Temple looked at Lu Ming mockingly. You only know how to challenge people of the same level. How can you be considered a sky pride? You're just a piece of trash. Since you're a sky pride, you must challenge those of a higher level. All of you, as long as you're a great saint, come up and fight me. Lu Ming said indifferently. What? The sky prides from the Soul Holy Temple, including Ouyang Wuji, were stunned. What did Lu Ming say? As long as they were in the great saint realm, they could challenge him? Was this kid crazy? He was just a great saint in the initial stage. How dare he say that he could challenge anyone in the great saint realm? Did he really think that everyone here was trash? Everyone here was a peerless sky pride. Even an ordinary martial artist in the initial stage of the great saint realm could not challenge a great saint realm in the great saint realm, let alone a sky pride. This kid must be crazy. Ha ha ha. This brat, could it be that he has gone crazy after being hit by my palm last time? The young man who sent Lu Ming flying last time laughed loudly. How dare he say that he could challenge anyone in the great saint realm? If he was not crazy, then what was? Ninth brother, did you really invite this person here? I'm afraid he hasn't seen the world yet. Ouyang Wuji sneered. A great saint in the initial stage could challenge a great saint in the great saint realm. Moreover, he was a peerless sky pride. Even if you beat him to death, he would not believe that there was such a person in the world. You talk too much nonsense. Do you dare to challenge me? Lu Ming scolded, looking down at the sky prides from the Soul Holy Temple and Mo Lang. Mo Lang and the others felt their hearts skip a beat when Lu Ming glanced at them. They did not dare to look at Lu Ming and lowered their heads. They knew that they were no match for Lu Ming. I'll destroy this kid. He just came and stared at junior sister Autumn Moon. I'll let him know what kind of trash he is. A young man from the Soul Holy Temple shouted coldly and rushed into the fighting ring. His aura was released. He was a peak great saint expert. Senior brother, go easy on him. Don't kill him in one move. That'll be boring. The young man who sent Lu Ming flying on the street said arrogantly. Make your move. Lu Ming looked at him indifferently. Kneel down. The young man shouted and struck with his palm. A huge khaki-colored palm grabbed at Lu Ming. This person controlled the law of earth and had amazing power. Boom. Chapter 1830. Lu Ming used the hell-suppressing heaven skill. The law of chaos circulated as he punched out. The terrifying fist energy whistled and destroyed the opponent's giant hand. The sky pride from the only sacred temple's face darkened. He shouted coldly, "You're quite capable. Let's see how many moves you can take." The opponent waved his hand. The law of earth circulated in the sky, forming mountains that pressed down on Lu Ming. I'm too lazy to play with you. Lu Ming spoke calmly. He took a step forward and dashed toward the other party at lightning speed. At the same time he threw out a punch. A ray of fist radiance pierced through the air and swept away all the mountains. The terrifying fist force continued to blast toward the genius from the one holy temple. The fist energy was unstoppable. It was as if the entire world was being crushed. The opponent's face changed drastically. The law of earth circulated and set up layers of defense in front of him. But it was useless. Lu Ming's fist energy crushed all the defenses. The sky pride from the only sacred temple spat out a mouthful of blood. His body flew far away and fell on the fighting ring. The entire place was silent. The sky pride from the only sacred temple, who was at the peak of the supreme saint realm, had been defeated so easily by Lu Ming. There was no resistance at all. How could a person at the initial stage of the supreme saint realm have such shocking combat strength? The other sky prides from the only sacred temple looked gloomy. Mo Lang, the Golden Crow second prince, and the other sky prides from the ancient moon sacred ground and purple flame villa had complicated expressions. They had long known about Lu Ming's combat strength. They were not surprised by this result. How is this possible? The young man who had sent Lu Ming flying with one palm on the street widened his eyes in disbelief at this scene. Wasn't Lu Ming sent flying with a single palm strike? Why was his combat strength so terrifying now? Haha, sixth brother, I've told you before. Cultivation never represents combat strength. Ouyang Wushuang laughed. Ouyang Wuji's face darkened and he did not speak. Huang Ling and Long Chun were able to defeat the Sky Pride from the only sacred temple. But now, Lu Ming was able to defeat the Sky Pride from the only sacred temple. Even Ouyang Wuji found it unbelievable. Great sages, Yang Qi said. If any of you want to come up here and fight, you're welcome. Lu Ming stood on the fighting ring, his voice spreading in all directions. But this time no one mocked him. Because just now, Lu Ming had used his battle prowess to prove that he had the strength to do so. Let me, said a voice. Then, a figure stepped into the air and landed on the fighting stage. Yuji. Many people's hearts trembled. Yuji was a great sage in the Great Perfection Realm. Previously, he had defeated the Great Perfection Realm Sky Prides of the Purple Flame Villa with his powerful combat strength. It could be said that among the Great Circle of the Great Sage level, his battle prowess was definitely at the very top. Unless he had a monarch body, he would be virtually invincible. Now he was going to fight Lu Ming, whose cultivation was only at the Great Sage Minor Mastery. Many people were very curious. Could Lu Ming fight with Yuji? Although Lu Ming is strong, he can't be a match for Yuji. I've heard of a great sage in the Lesser Mastery defeating a great sage in the Great Perfection Realm. But I've never heard of a great sage in the Great Perfection Realm like Yuji. That's right. Even the Son of Heaven would find it difficult to do so. The difference in cultivation is too great. The Sky Prides of the Soul Sanctum were discussing. This time, even Mo Lang, the Golden Crow Second Prince, and the Sky Prides of the Purple Flame Villa thought that Lu Ming's chances of winning were not high. Although Lu Ming could kill a Sky Pride like Wan Jingyang. Wan Jingyang's cultivation was also at the Great Perfection Realm. But he was definitely not a match for Yuji. Make your move, Lu Ming said indifferently. Kill. Yuji's body was covered in white flames, and the temperature was shockingly high. The flames formed a battle saber and slashed at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's chaotic law flowed all over his body as he used the hell-suppressing heaven skill. His palm was like a saber as he slashed out. Boom. There was a violent explosion, and the power of flames filled half of the battle platform. Then, a figure could be seen taking 7 or 8 steps back before he could stabilize himself. That figure was Yuji, and Lu Ming did not move at all. Yuji has been defeated. Many people gasped in shock. Could it be that even Yuji was no match for Lu Ming? The law he controls seems to be the law of chaos. Someone suddenly exclaimed. That's right. The light of chaos is very similar to the legendary law of chaos. Could this person be one of the sons of heaven? The son of chaos? It should be. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so powerful. I didn't expect the son of chaos to appear here. Many people could also see that Lu Ming controlled the law of chaos, and they immediately discussed it intensely. Ouyang Wuji's face turned even colder. He did not expect Ouyang Wushuang to know a son of chaos. Ninth brother, your connections are really wide. You actually know a son of chaos. Ouyang Wuji said, his voice full of jealousy. Of course he was jealous. Huang Ling and Long Chun, whom Ouyang Wuji had invited, both controlled the law of kings, and Lu Ming controlled one of the 10 strongest laws. Although such a genius's cultivation was still weak now, he would definitely be terrifying in the future. Why didn't he know such a powerful genius? Damn it! Yuji retreated and growled, his face even gloomier. The one only sacred palace was known as the only one in the world, but now, he was defeated by Lu Ming even though his cultivation was so much higher. It was unbearable for him. The flames on his body burned even more fiercely. The white flames danced, distorting the space around him. However, at that moment, Lu Ming's gaze moved away from Yuji and looked at the one only sacred palace, at Autumn Moon. At that moment, Autumn Moon's gaze was also curiously sizing up Lu Ming, as if she did not know Lu Ming at all. Autumn Moon, I'm Lu Ming. I'm your young master. Do you still remember me? Lu Ming said, his voice spreading far and wide. Lu Ming? Young master? Those words made Autumn Moon frown as if she was thinking, how dare you? This guy is taking advantage of junior sister Autumn Moon again. Senior brother Yuji, teach him a lesson. The genius of the one only sacred palace shouted unhappily. Raging flame storm cut. At that moment, Yuji roared and the flames on his body condensed into a huge battle saber. The battle saber slashed hundreds of times in an instant, and the flaming saber light swept toward Lu Ming. This was Yuji's divine skill, and its power was extremely shocking. Get lost! Lu Ming shouted and pointed his finger. A huge chaotic calamity finger was formed and blasted toward Yuji. Boom! The chaos calamity finger was like the finger of a god. With a touch, all the saber gleams shattered. The terrifying force crushed toward Yuji. Yuji retreated all the way to the edge of the fighting ring before he stopped. His body trembled slightly, and he was almost blasted off the fighting ring by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's gaze was still fixed on Autumn Moon, and he did not look at Yuji. Autumn Moon, it's been more than 10 years since we last met. Do you still remember Master and Madam, my father Lu Yintian, and my mother Li Ping? They all miss you very much. Chapter 1831. Master and Madam, Master and Madam. Chiou muttered to herself, and the look in her eyes became more intense. She frowned as if she was thinking hard about something. Kill! Yuji roared, and charged towards Lu Ming. Flames filled the sky, and in the sky, sabers and swords condensed from flames appeared one after another, and like a storm, they charged towards Lu Ming. This move was Yuji's strongest move, and it displayed the divine art to the extreme. Get down! Lu Ming didn't even look and pointed out another finger. This time, Lu Ming raised the power of the chaotic calamity finger to the extreme. Lu Ming didn't use his full strength in the previous finger. The law of primal chaos erupted, and the chaotic calamity finger was formed and blasted out, crushing all obstacles. All the weapons condensed from flames exploded in an instant. Yuji's face changed drastically, and with a scream, his body was blasted out like a cannonball. He flew out of the battle platform for a long distance before falling to the ground and vomiting blood. He was severely injured by this move. If it weren't for his flame spiritual body and tenacious vitality, his physical body would have exploded. Yuji was defeated. He was utterly defeated. Many people were silent. This kind of combat strength was beyond their imagination. A lesser great saint defeated Yuji, who was in the great saint perfection realm. Yuji was a peerless genius, and this kind of combat strength was simply unheard of. Especially the geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa. They remembered that when they first saw Lu Ming and the others, they mocked Lu Ming and the others. Now that they thought about it, they felt embarrassed and ashamed. Some of the people from the Soul Holy Temple blushed. Lu Ming said before that as long as they were in the Great Saint Realm, they could challenge them at will. And they even mocked Lu Ming for being crazy. Now it seemed that Lu Ming had a well-thought-out plan. On the contrary, they seemed a little ridiculous. They were like clowns. Ouyang Wushuang laughed heartily. Sixth brother, how is it? So what if you're in the Great Saint Perfection realm? You still lost. It seems that my side is stronger. Sixth brother, do you want to help me get the position of Crown Prince? Ouyang Wushuang smiled. Ouyang Wuji's face was extremely gloomy. He knew that his plan to suppress Ouyang Wushuang and make Ouyang Wushuang help him fight against the first prince, Ouyang Wudao, had failed. It was all because of Lu Ming, Long Chun and Huang Ling. Ouyang Wuji clenched his fists, his eyes cold. In the beginning, everything went according to his plan. Everything went smoothly. However, after Long Chun made his move, all of his plans were messed up. Long Chun and Huang Ling's battle prowess was extremely powerful. They were actually able to defeat the geniuses of the One Temple. However, this was nothing. No matter how strong Long Chun and Huang Ling were, it would be difficult for them to contend against the geniuses of the Great Sage Perfections. They would not have much impact on the overall situation. However, Lu Ming's subsequent actions completely disrupted his plans. Lu Ming's battle prowess could even defeat Yuji. This kind of battle prowess could already affect the battle situation. In this way, he did not have an overwhelming advantage. Why would Ouyang Wushuang help him? Ninth brother, this test is a test of overall strength. Although Lu Ming is strong, he's only one person. I advise you to help me. Ouyang Wuji said with a gloomy face. Oh, if that's the case, we'll see who's stronger during the test. Ouyang Wushuang said. All right, then we'll see during the test. Ouyang Wuji said with a cold face. Various thoughts ran through everyone's mind. However, Lu Ming's gaze was still fixed on Autumn Moon. Autumn Moon, what's wrong with you? Do you still remember the Lu family of Windfire City? Do you still remember the Mystic Essence Sword Sect? Do you still remember the Burning Sun Empire? Lu Ming's voice was like a bell that resounded between heaven and earth. He continuously asked a series of questions that seemed to penetrate deep into Autumn Moon's heart. Lu family of Windfire City? Mystic Essence Sword Sect? Lu family of Windfire City? Qiuyu kept muttering to herself. Her eyes were filled with confusion. After a while, a painful expression appeared on her face. She let out a soft cry and flew up into the sky. She turned into a beam of light and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Autumn Moon. Just as Lu Ming was about to chase after her, a few elites from the only sacred palace blocked Lu Ming's path. Damn it, what did you say to Autumn Moon? Why did you make her so abnormal? If anything happens to junior sister Autumn Moon, you'll die without a burial place. The elites from the only sacred palace shouted coldly, and a powerful aura pressed down on Lu Ming. What? Are you trying to bully me with your numbers? Long Chun said as he stepped out and came to Lu Ming's side. Then, Huang Ling did the same. How dare you? Ouyang Wuji shouted coldly and stood up. A powerful aura exploded from his body as he looked coldly at Lu Ming and the others. At the same time, Mo Lang and the second prince of the Golden Crow also stared at Lu Ming unkindly. If they could take the opportunity to kill Lu Ming today, they would be willing to do so. Sixth brother, are you going to start a fight with me before the assessment starts? If word gets out, both of us will be disqualified. Wouldn't that benefit Ouyang Wudao? Ouyang Wushuang also stood up and confronted Ouyang Wuji. Ouyang Wuji's expression changed. He did want to take the opportunity to cripple Lu Ming, but Ouyang Wushuang was right. If the two of them started a fight, the consequences would be unpredictable. Whether they would be disqualified or not, Ouyang Wudao would benefit. Humph, ninth brother, I'll see you at the assessment. Ouyang Wuji pondered for a while, waved his sleeves and snorted coldly. Lu Ming, let's go first. Ouyang Wushuang looked at Lu Ming and said. Lu Ming looked in the direction where Autumn Moon had left and frowned. Something must have happened to Autumn Moon. But one thing was for sure. Autumn Moon had not been possessed. If she had been possessed and Lu Ming kept asking her questions, she would not have reacted this way. Autumn Moon, I will find out what you have experienced. Lu Ming's gaze was cold. The only thing he could do now was to find out what Autumn Moon had experienced. Only then could he find the right solution. Lu Ming did not pursue. He turned around and left with Ouyang Wushuang and the others. In Ouyang Wushuang's residence, Lu Ming and Ouyang Wushuang sat opposite each other at a stone table in a courtyard. Lu Ming, you asked me about Miss Autumn Moon. Do you know her? Are you really her young master? Ouyang Wushuang asked curiously. That's right. Lu Ming nodded and said. Autumn Moon and I came from the same place. Before she came to Yuanlu, she was my maid. Lu Ming briefly explained the relationship between him and Autumn Moon. The proud daughter of the One Sanctum is actually your maid. After hearing this, Ouyang Wushuang was shocked. But when Autumn Moon saw me, she seemed to have forgotten me. Something must have happened to her. Ouyang, have you heard anything about this? Lu Ming asked. Just now, Lu Ming came to find Ouyang Wushuang alone to ask about this. Chapter 1832. What happened? Ouyang Wushuang frowned and pondered. After a while, Ouyang Wushuang said. A year ago, something big happened in the ancient Sun Holy Land. Is it related to Miss Autumn Moon? What happened? Lu Ming asked quickly. 1 year ago, Miss Qiuyu's master, an extremely powerful existence in the only holy temple, suddenly went mad and killed his way to the Daoyuo Heaven sect. I don't know what happened in the end, but Master Qiuyu retreated. Ouyang Wushuang said. Miss Autumn Moon's master suddenly went to the Daoyuo Heaven sect? Lu Ming pondered. Miss Qiuyu's master is definitely a true emperor, one of the strongest among true emperors. The Daoyuo Heaven sect is the strongest sect in the ancient Sun sacred ground. Rumor has it that there is a grand emperor there. Why would Miss Chiuyu's master come to the Daoyuo Heaven sect unless something big happened? This incident caused a huge commotion in the sacred ground. Many speculated about what happened to make a powerful true emperor furious, and went all the way to Daoyuo Heaven sect. But in the end, the matter was left unsettled, and he directly retreated. However, there's no consensus on this matter yet. Ouyang Wushuang said. The Daoyuo Heaven sect, is it related to the incident of Miss Autumn Moon? Lu Ming frowned, and then chatted with Ouyang Wushuang for a while. But they didn't come to a conclusion, so they left. 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. 7 days later, Ouyang Wushuang called everyone together again. Everyone, the content of the assessment is here. It is divided into 3 parts. The first part is to command the troops in battle. Ouyang Wushuang said. Command the troops in battle? Everyone was stunned. Yes, if you want to be the crown prince, you need to be excellent in all aspects such as martial arts talent, wisdom, and connections. Only then can you control a country. The first part of the assessment is in a formation world. Ouyang Wuji, Ouyang Wudao, and I will each lead 30,000 troops to battle. We will be ranked according to the results. Ouyang Wushuang explained. Each side has 30,000 troops. Is the cultivation of the troops about the same among the 3 sides? Someone asked. If one side had an army of 30,000 strong while the other side had a weak army, then no matter how good one's commanding ability was, it would be useless. Don't worry about that. Everyone who enters the world of the formation will only enter with their spiritual sense. Their cultivation will be suppressed to the first layer martial dominator realm. And even if they are killed inside, they will only be eliminated instead of dying, Ouyang Wushuang said. No wonder. Everyone was surprised. Everyone's cultivation was martial royal realm of martial royal realm? They entered the martial royal realm? And was martial royal realm? In an army of tens of thousands, the strength of an individual could not affect the overall situation. Only the ability to command troops and the coordination of battle formations could be maximized. Saying this, Ouyang Wushuang headed toward the exit. The crowd followed him and soon arrived at a spacious area. Mystical runes flickered in all directions of the area, forming a mystical formation. On the ground, several figures sat with their legs crossed with their eyes closed as if they were meditating. There are 30,000 people here. They are currently in the formation world, which is guarded by the experts of the kingdom. Don't worry, no one will disturb you when you enter the formation world. Let's go in too. Ouyang Wushuang said as he landed on the ground, and sat down with his legs crossed. Lu Ming and the others landed on the ground and sat down with their legs crossed. Following this, runes began to crawl onto their bodies and encapsulate them. Lu Ming could feel his mind leaving his body and entering a rift. Not long after, Lu Ming opened his eyes and discovered himself on a platform. Beside him, Ouyang Wushuang, Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others appeared too. My cultivation is indeed at the first layer martial dominator realm. Lu Ming inspected his body and discovered that his cultivation was indeed at the first layer martial dominator realm. Everyone else's cultivation was at the first layer martial dominator realm too. How magical! It's similar to the sky-towering floating platform at the Dragon God Valley. Lu Ming exclaimed. The sky-towering floating platform at the Dragon God Valley allowed the cultivator's mind to enter a place to cultivate. This formation world allowed the cultivator to enter the formation world and form a body. In front of the platform, there was a huge military camp. Many people could be seen coming and going in the military camp. Let's head over. Ouyang Wushuang led the way, followed by the others. The 9th prince is here. Someone in the camp yelled. Beat the drum. Gather the troops. Ouyang Wushuang gave the order. Dong, dong, dong. His deep and resounding voice spread throughout the entire barracks. With a flicker, the troops gathered on the spacious ground. Not long after, the 30,000 troops were gathered. All of them were wearing black armor, and were at the first layer martial dominator realm. When they stood together, their aura was intimidating. Ouyang Wushuang stood on the high ground and scanned the crowd. This time the 6th prince, Ouyang Wuji, and the first prince, Ouyang Wudao, are fighting for the position of the crown prince. If you help me become the crown prince, you will be rewarded greatly. When I become the emperor in the future, I will not forget you. Ouyang Wushuang's voice echoed in the camp. We will do our best to help the 9th prince become the crown prince. The 30,000 troops roared. If they could really help the 9th prince seize the position of crown prince, in the future, when Ouyang Wushuang took control of the Xinyuan Empire, their lives would definitely be better. There would definitely be more opportunities. If they could grab hold of this opportunity, they might be able to achieve meteoric success. All right, we will train together for the next 2 months. I have a large formation here, the Sky Tiger Roaring Formation. For the next 2 months, you will train this formation with all your might. Ouyang Wushuang said. Yes, the 30,000 troops replied, their voices shaking the sky. In a battle, only with the help of a large formation could one unleash a powerful combat strength. Some large formations could even unleash 10 or 100 times the combat strength. An army that did not know how to use formations would be easily defeated by an army that knew how to use formations. Everyone, during the first round of the examination, you should take a good rest. I will need your help in the second and third rounds. Ouyang Wushuang looked at Lu Ming and the others. The first round was the battle of commanding the troops. Lu Ming and the others were only at the first layer martial dominator realm, so they would not be of much help. Their role was mainly in the second and third rounds. 9th prince, please. We will take a look around. A genius from the Purple Flame Villa said. All right. Chapter 1833. Lu Ming and the rest took a casual look and left one after another. The first round had nothing to do with them. In the following days, Ouyang Wushuang focused on training the army and practicing the Sky Tiger Roaring Formation with the 30,000 soldiers. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye. During this period of time, Lu Ming had been cultivating wholeheartedly. His cultivation level was approaching the Great Sage Great Mastery. However, after reaching the Great Sage realm, the improvement of his cultivation became slower and more difficult. After cultivating for half a month, Lu Ming stopped for the time being. He walked around and then entered the array ground again. He wanted to see how Ouyang Wushuang was doing during this period of time to train the soldiers. Roar! Roar! On the open ground, the 30,000 soldiers were running on the ground like a torrent. The earth rumbled and their aura was earth-shattering. As far as the eye could see, what came into view was a black torrent. True essence surged and formed a giant tiger in the sky above the 30,000 soldiers. This giant tiger was tens of thousands of feet tall and bigger than a mountain. Its aura was shocking. This was the Sky Tiger Roaring Formation. 30,000 first-layer martial emperors formed a formation and formed a Sky Tiger. Even a sage to be would be torn apart. Moreover, as the 30,000 soldiers trained for a long time and became more familiar with the formation, their combat strength would become stronger. Lu Ming stood in the sky and watched quietly. After training for a few hours, the army stopped to rest. A figure flew toward Lu Ming. It was Ouyang Wushuang. Lu Ming, why are you here today? Ouyang Wushuang said with a smile. I'm here to see how your training is going. How is it? Are you confident about the first round of the test? Lu Ming asked. I'm not sure. Ouyang Wushuang shook his head and said with a serious face, I got the Sky Tiger Roaring Formation by accident. It's very powerful, but I can't guarantee that Ouyang Wudao and Ouyang Wuji don't have a powerful formation. If they have a formation that is not weaker than mine, this battle will be very difficult. Moreover, the three sides are restraining each other. The situation is changing rapidly and no one is confident of winning. Ouyang Wushuang said. Lu Ming nodded. The three sides each had 30,000 soldiers, and their strength was about the same. They kept each other in check, and the situation was ever-changing. Before the results were out, no one could predict who would win. Lu Ming lowered his head and pondered for a moment before saying, I have a battle formation here. Its power is far above the Heavenly Tiger's Roaring Space Formation. Perhaps you can give it a try. Its power is far above the Heavenly Tiger Roaring Formation? Ouyang Wushuang's eyes lit up. Yes, this formation is called the True Dragon Battle Formation. Lu Ming nodded, took out a jade token, and handed it to Ouyang Wushuang. This battle formation was found in the memories of the 9 dragons. Its power was very strong, far above the Sky Tiger Roaring formation. Ouyang Wushuang scanned with his soul sense, and the joy on his face became stronger. With this battle formation, I'm even more confident, Ouyang Wushuang said. Not necessarily. If I don't use it well, I'm afraid I'll be the first to be eliminated, Lu Ming said. He wasn't that optimistic. You mean it will cause Ouyang Wudao and Ouyang Wuji to join forces? Ouyang Wushuang was also a smart person. After thinking about it, he understood what Lu Ming meant. If his battle formation was too strong and made Ouyang Wudao and Ouyang Wuji feel threatened, the 2 sides would join forces to attack him. No matter how strong the true dragon battle formation was, it would be dangerous. So we can only take out 5,000 people to practice the true dragon battle formation. The other 25,000 people will continue to practice the Heavenly Tiger Roaring Space formation. And during the battle, it's best if those 25,000 people are sacrificed. Lu Ming spoke and told him about a plan. His plan was very simple. When the 3 sides fought, 25,000 people would be sacrificed. This way, only a few thousand people would be left. Ouyang Wushuang wouldn't be much of a threat to the other 2 sides. Their attention would only be on each other. This way, Ouyang Wushuang would be able to reap the benefits. Of course, this plan required the remaining few thousand people to be strong enough to form a powerful battle formation. Otherwise, even if he reaped the benefits, it would be useless. Okay, let's follow this plan. Ouyang Wushuang was also an extremely decisive person. He immediately decided to use Lu Ming's plan. Ouyang, I hope you can win. Lu Ming smiled. Ouyang Wushuang was a silver inheritor and had to listen to his orders. Lu Ming also hoped that Ouyang Wushuang could defeat the other 2 sides, seize the position of crown prince, and then control the Xinyuan Empire. To Lu Ming, there were only advantages and no disadvantages in doing so. Ouyang Wushuang immediately selected 5,000 people to secretly practice the true dragon battle formation. Lu Ming left the array world and wandered around the Xinyuan Empire. He casually bought some things, and then walked toward Ouyang Wushuang's residence. You trash, hurry up and hand over your pills. Otherwise, I'll cripple you completely. Lu Ming had just turned into a residence when he heard a voice. Don't even think about it. This is my reward for working hard for a year. Don't even think about taking it. Kill me if you can. At this moment, another voice sounded. Judging from the voice, they didn't sound old. Lu Ming was a little curious. He moved and appeared on the roof of a hall. He looked forward. There were 5 to 6 youths in front of him. They were all 14 or 15 years old. 5 of them surrounded a black-robed youth and stared at him unkindly. The black-robed youth looked at them stubbornly. Ouyang Moli, since you want to die, we'll fulfill your wish. Don't think that we don't dare to kill you. Even if we kill a trash like you who can't even awaken your bloodline, who will care about you? Among the 5 youths, a yellow-robed youth sneered. That's right. Hand over the pills. For a trash like you, even if you get the stabilizing pill, it'll be a waste. You might as well give it to us. Be filial to us in the future. Only then can trash like you live on. Otherwise you'll die. The other youths sneered. Don't even think about it. The stabilizing pill is mine. It's my last hope. If you want to take it away, you might as well kill me. The black-robed youth, Ouyang Moli, roared. Since that's the case, I'll fulfill your wish. The yellow-robed youth kicked Ouyang Moli in the stomach. Ouyang Moli screamed and flew out. He spat out a mouthful of blood and his face was pale. However, his gaze was still firm as he stared at the yellow-robed youth and the others. If I don't die, I'll pay you back tenfold, Ouyang Moli said. His eyes were cold and filled with killing intent. This gaze made the yellow-robed youth and the others feel a chill in their hearts. You don't have a chance. Today is the day you die, the yellow-robed youth said coldly. His true core strength surged, and he was about to attack Ouyang Moli. At this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. His palm glowed and the reincarnation halberd appeared in his hand. Chapter 1834. The reincarnation halberd vibrated continuously and emitted radiance as if it was about to fly away. Moreover, The tip of the reincarnation halberd was pointing at Ouyang Moli. Lu Ming was surprised. The reincarnation halberd had been in his hands for a long time, and there had been no abnormalities. However, since a while ago, the reincarnation halberd had been vibrating nonstop even when it was in the mountain river diagram. It seemed to be because of Ouyang Moli. There was no time for Lu Ming to think too much. With a movement of his body, Lu Ming appeared in front of Ouyang Moli. A gush of energy gushed out. The 5 teenagers were pushed back by this gush of energy. Who are you? How dare you meddle in the affairs of the Ouyang royal family? The yellow-robed youth shouted when he saw Lu Ming. He wasn't afraid at all. You can leave. I won't make things difficult for you. Lu Ming waved his hand. Leave Ouyang Moli to us and we will leave, the yellow-robed youth said. Lu Ming didn't dare to make a move as he thought Lu Ming was afraid of them. Get lost. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold and a cold murderous intent surged out towards the 5 youths. Lu Ming had experienced many battles in his life, and his murderous intent was extremely dense. The 5 youths shuddered when they were enveloped by Lu Ming's murderous intent. Their faces turned pale, and there wasn't a trace of blood. You wait. Fear flashed in the yellow-robed youth's eyes. He left behind a ruthless sentence and left with the other 4 youths. Senior, thank you for your help. Ouyang Moli stepped forward and bowed to Lu Ming. It's nothing. You don't have to thank me. Why are they targeting you? Lu Ming asked curiously. Because they want to snatch my elixir. This elixir is my last hope. I can't let them snatch it away. Ouyang Moli's eyes were filled with determination. You haven't awakened your bloodline, right? Lu Ming sized up Ouyang Moli and revealed a curious expression. In the Yuan continent, especially in the ancient Sun's sacred ground, it was rare to see a teenager who hadn't awakened his bloodline. No wonder the yellow-robed youth called Ouyang Moli trash. Ouyang Moli's eyes revealed a dejected look. However, in an instant his eyes became firm again. He clenched his fists and said, Senior, are you looking down on me too? Although I can't awaken my bloodline now, I'll be able to become a martial artist. Those who look down on me, I will trample them under my feet. Ouyang Moli's eyes was filled with surprise to him. Lu's eyes to be more. And Lu Ming's eyes too's. The more he was too. Lu he to be. I'm afraid you won't be able to awaken your bloodline even if you use that stabilizing pill. Said. What? B. S to be cut to cut cuts. His to be to bite. His Ming. It. His. Why? Is it? He. Of it. But I can help you. At this moment, Lu Ming continued. These words made Ouyang Moli's body tremble again. There was a bright glow in his eyes. That was the light of hope. Then with a thud, Ouyang Moli knelt in front of Lu Ming and bowed deeply. Master, please accept a bow from your disciple. Master? I didn't say I would accept you as my disciple. Lu Ming rubbed his nose speechlessly. As long as you can help me awaken my bloodline, you will be my master. Ouyang Moli said firmly. You don't have to be my disciple. You can decide after I help you awaken your bloodline. If you meet the requirements, I can accept you as my disciple on behalf of another senior. Lu Ming said. Thank you, senior. Ouyang Moli said. Come with me. Lu Ming walked towards his room and Ouyang Moli followed him. Soon they arrived at Lu Ming's room. Lu Ming waved his hand and brought Ouyang Moli into the mountain river diagram. They arrived at the peak of a mountain. Ouyang Moli looked around curiously. This is the cultivation abode. Sit down with your legs crossed. I will help you awaken your bloodline, Lu Ming said. All right. Ouyang Moli nodded and sat down with his legs crossed. Lu Ming stretched out his hand and tapped on Ouyang Moli's body continuously. Waves of saint power surged into Ouyang Moli's body. Subsequently, layers of saint power wrapped around Ouyang Moli, stimulating the bloodline in his body and helping him awaken his bloodline power. But not long after, Ouyang Moli's spine emitted a blood-red light. As time passed, the blood-red light became thicker and thicker. Finally, a black vortex appeared and floated above Ouyang Moli's head. At this moment, there was a bright glow in Lu Ming's eyes as he stared intently at the vortex. Reincarnation. It's the reincarnation bloodline, and the reincarnation body. Lu Ming muttered to himself in amazement. Ouyang Moli had awakened the reincarnation bloodline. As he cultivated, his body constitution would become the reincarnation body. Once he reached the saint realm, he would be able to control the reincarnation law. He was a rare genius, one of the sons of heaven, the reincarnation son. Like Xiang Xiang, he was born with the life body and would be able to control the life law in the future. The life law and reincarnation law were two of the 10 supreme laws. Lu Ming did not expect to meet a son of heaven here. No wonder the reincarnation halberd kept vibrating. It was obvious that the reincarnation halberd had sensed Ouyang Moli's body constitution. My luck is really good. Lu Ming revealed a smile on his face. He had promised to help the reincarnation emperor find an inheritor. The son of reincarnation was definitely the best inheritor. Bloodline. I've awakened my bloodline. I've finally awakened my bloodline. Ouyang Moli shouted excitedly when he sensed the awakening of his bloodline. For so many years, no matter how hard he cultivated, he could not awaken his bloodline. He was called trash. He had once thought that he was trash. If it was not for his strong willpower, he would have given up on martial arts. Now that his bloodline had finally awakened, how could he not be excited? How could he not be excited? After a while, Ouyang Moli finally calmed down and knelt in front of Lu Ming with a thud. Disciple pays his respects to master. Your master isn't me. I will pass on the inheritance of another person to you. That person is your true master. Lu Ming said. No. In my heart, I only recognize you as my master. You have given me a new lease of life. No one can compare to you. Ouyang Moli said firmly. Are you sure? That person is a great emperor expert. Lu Ming said. A great emperor? Shock flashed across Ouyang Moli's eyes. A great emperor was the pinnacle of the world. The heavenly emperor was just a legend. A great emperor was the pinnacle. Lu Ming wanted to pass on the inheritance of a great emperor to him. Chapter 1835. Lu Ming nodded in his heart. Ouyang Moli knew how to repay kindness and had a good character. Lu Ming liked him very much. Well, since you insist on worshipping me as your master, I'll accept you as my disciple. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and said. The son of reincarnation was rare in the world. There were only a few of them since ancient times. Lu Ming was also very tempted by such a genius. He pondered for a moment and nodded in agreement. However, I'll still pass on the inheritance of that senior to you. You have to respect that senior as your master. Do you understand? Lu Ming said. Ouyang Moli was overjoyed and said, I understand. Greetings, master. Well, get up. Lu Ming instructed. Ouyang Moli got up obediently. Before you, I've already accepted 2 nominal disciples and a prodisciple. You'll be ranked second among the prodisciples in the future. Do you understand? Lu Ming continued. Yes, master. Ouyang Moli said respectfully. Well, let's talk about you. Your surname is Ouyang. You should be a member of the royal family of the Xinyuan Empire. Why did those people treat you like that? Lu Ming asked. Since he had accepted Ouyang Moli as his disciple, he naturally had to know more about him. Master, although I'm a member of the royal family, I'm just a branch of the royal family. Then, Ouyang Moli explained. After countless years of development and reproduction, the Ouyang royal family of the Xinyuan Empire had given birth to countless branches. The population was unimaginably large. Ouyang Moli was a member of one of the branches. However, a few years ago, his parents were killed by the people of the Daluo Heaven sect when they were cultivating outside. Now he was the only one left in his branch. In the past few years, he relied on his identity as the descendant of the Ouyang family to get a job in the palace. Unfortunately, he couldn't awaken his bloodline. After so many years of hard work, his cultivation was only in the martial soldier realm. Moreover, he was all alone, so naturally, he was often bullied by others. He had always endured, hoping that one day, he would awaken his bloodline and soar into the sky. At the same time, he would be able to avenge his parents. This time, due to his hard work, his superiors rewarded him with a stabilizing pill. He hoped to awaken his bloodline with this stabilizing pill. However, he was besieged by the yellow-robed youth and the others. They wanted to snatch his stabilizing pill. The yellow-robed young man and the others were also from the Ouyang royal family, but since they were able to awaken their bloodline, their cultivation was naturally higher than Ouyang Moli's. Lu Ming nodded his head silently. Such things were happening all the time in the entire Yuan continent. Wasn't he in a similar situation back then? Fortunately, he was discovered by Lu Ming this time. Otherwise, a peerless genius would have been buried. In fact, this world had never lacked peerless geniuses. It was just a matter of whether they could be unearthed. Since ancient times, countless geniuses had been buried. Some physiques and some geniuses had been outstanding since young and displayed rare talents. Naturally, they wouldn't be buried. They would be discovered by the big shots and focused on nurturing them. However, some physiques and bloodlines were hidden. Without strong assistance, it would be difficult to awaken them. For example, Ouyang Moli had the reincarnation bloodline and was hidden. Moreover, he was from the Ouyang royal family. No one paid attention to him, and he was regarded as a good-for-nothing. If he hadn't met Lu Ming and the reincarnation halberd reacted, Lu Ming wouldn't have discovered him. If this continued, this peerless genius would be buried in a few decades. Therefore, some powerful forces would send experts to travel the world to search for geniuses. Back then, wasn't the mid-autumn moon discovered by the experts from the Soul Sanctum? In the future, if I succeed in my cultivation, I must find the Daluo Heaven sect and avenge my parents. At the end of his speech, Ouyang Moli clenched his fists tightly. Then you should focus on your cultivation. I'll teach you a succession first. Sit tight. Lu Ming said. Ouyang Moli immediately sat down. Then Lu Ming took out the Reincarnation Emperor's World Core and sealed it into Ouyang Moli's mind with his powerful cultivation. Ouyang Moli's body immediately emitted a pitch-black light. A pitch-black vortex spun above his head as if it led to the abyss of hell. Buzz. Not long after, the vortex suddenly shook and split into two vortexes. After a while, another vortex appeared, and there were now 3 vortexes. Every time the vortex split, Ouyang Moli's aura would soar. A few hours later, there were 6 vortexes floating above Ouyang Moli's head. It was a wonderful sight. 6 paths of reincarnation. Lu Ming muttered as his eyes lit up. This was the real 6 paths of reincarnation bloodline. Moli's cultivation has reached the martial king realm. Lu Ming exclaimed in his heart. Ouyang Moli had just integrated with the Reincarnation Emperor's World Core, and his cultivation had soared to the martial king realm. After another 2 hours, Ouyang Moli opened his eyes. My cultivation. Ouyang Moli felt the boundless power in his body and his eyes were filled with shock. Moli, you have just integrated with the World Core and your cultivation has soared. However, don't get lost. During this time, stay in my mountain river diagram and familiarize yourself with your power. Don't increase your cultivation for now. Lu Ming reminded him. It was not a good thing for his cultivation to soar too quickly. He had to stabilize his foundation. Yes, master. Ouyang Moli bowed and accepted the order. Cultivate well. If you have any problems, look for me anytime. Also, this reincarnation halberd is for you. Lu Ming took out the reincarnation halberd and handed it to Ouyang Moli. Ouyang Moli was grateful. As for Lu Ming, he went to the Enlightenment Ancient Tree and meditated on the chaotic calamity finger. Time passed day by day. Lu Ming would go to the array world every once in a while to watch Ouyang Wushuang train the army. The army of 30,000 was divided into 2 groups. One group had 25,000 people who continued to cultivate the Sky Tiger Roaring Array. The other 5,000 people were taken away by Ouyang Wushuang to cultivate the True Dragon Array. In the blink of an eye, the 2-month training period was up. On this day, Lu Ming, Huangling Longchun, and the Sky Prides of the Purple Flame Villa entered the array world. They stood on a high ground with Ouyang Wushuang while the army of 30,000 people was below them. Let's go. Ouyang Wushuang ordered, and the army of 30,000 people set off into the distance. At the same time, the other 2 groups of troops also set off toward the center of the array world. Not long after, the 3 groups of troops met in the center of the array world. The 3 groups of troops formed a triangle and faced each other. No one dared to make a move. To the left of Lu Ming and the others was a group of troops wearing purple armor. At a glance, it was like a purple sea. This was the army led by the first prince, Ouyang Wudao. To the right of them was a group of troops wearing silver armor. This was the army led by Ouyang Wuji. Sixth brother, ninth brother, you'd better surrender. This time the position of crown prince is mine. You can't win against me. Chapter 1836. Ouyang Wudao. Ouyang Wushuang whispered. Beside him, the genius of Purple Flame Villa looked dignified. The first prince, Ouyang Wudao, was extremely talented and had a profound cultivation. He was domineering and decisive. With the support of the Daluo Heaven sect, he was the most likely candidate to become the crown prince. Brother, it is not the style of the Ouyang family to surrender before a fight. If you want to become the crown prince, let us see if you have the strength to do so. Ouyang Wuji's voice came from the Silver Army. Brother, if you want to become the crown prince and rule the Shenyuan Empire, show us your strength. Ouyang Wushuang also said. Stubborn. Ouyang Wudao's voice was cold. He was burly and wore a purple robe, full of majesty. Ouyang Wuji and Ouyang Wushuang think that they can compete with the first prince because they have the support of the One Sanctum and Purple Flame Villa. What a joke. I will make them regret it later. A cold-looking young man beside Ouyang Wudao said. He was the genius of the Daluo Heaven sect and had great talent. He was famous in the ancient Sun Holy Land. The three parties faced each other and no one took action. The three parties had 30,000 soldiers with cultivation of LV1 martial royal realm. Their strength was similar, and no one was confident to fight against the other two parties. The meeting this time was just a test. After a while, the three parties retreated at the same time. Lu Ming and the others retreated to the barracks. In the barracks, Ouyang Wushuang and a few of his confidants, Lu Ming, Long Chun, Huang Ling, and the geniuses of Purple Flame Villa gathered to discuss the countermeasures. I think the plan now is to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. We will stay in the barracks and wait for the first prince and the sixth prince to fight. When they are both injured, we can clean up the mess and win the first round. Xiao Muching, the genius of Purple Flame Villa, said. Wait for the other two parties to fight? Haha, that's ridiculous. How can they be so stupid to fight with each other before we are defeated? I guess they have the same idea as us. They want to wait for the other two parties to fight, and then reap the benefits. If this goes on, it will be a stalemate. Lu Ming said. Xiao Muqing's face darkened and he said, Oh? In your opinion, what should we do? Take the initiative to attack. Lu Ming said indifferently. Haha, taking the initiative to attack? Laughable, truly laughable. Lu Ming, although your battle prowess is strong and I admire you, your ability to lead troops into battle is somewhat weak. You've said it yourself. The other two parties are waiting for us to fight each other. They want to reap the benefits. If we take the initiative to attack, no matter which party we attack, we'll be helping the third party. You're contradicting yourself. Xiao Muqing sneered. The Purple Flame Villa's genius also had a mocking expression on his face. That's exactly what I want to do. Otherwise, if the stalemate continues, who knows how long it will last. The best way to win the first round is to end it quickly. Lu Ming said. Win the first round? How do I get it? According to your method, I'm afraid we'll be the first to be eliminated. Xiao Muqing sneered. Lu Ming glanced at Xiao Muqing casually, and then ignored him. He looked at Ouyang Wushuang and said, Ninth Prince, I suggest that we attack the first prince's army first. However, we can't be too obvious. Send scouts to gather information first and then attack in the dark. All right, let's do that. The ninth prince said. This was the countermeasure that he had discussed with Lu Ming earlier. Of course, he couldn't say it out loud now. If word got out, their plan would fall through. Ninth prince, you can't do that. You'll definitely lose. Xiao Muqing's face changed drastically and he shouted, hoping to stop Ouyang Wushuang. That's right. You can't do that. You'll be digging your own grave. Ninth Prince, please reconsider. The other geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa spoke one after another. Everyone, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. There's no need to persuade me anymore. Ouyang Wushuang waved his hand. Ninth prince, if you lose the first round, it'll be difficult later on. Ninth prince, you have to think carefully, Xiao Muqing said with a sullen face. I've made up my mind, Ouyang Wushuang said. If that's the case, I won't say more. It seems that the crown prince position will fall on the first prince and the sixth prince. Xiao Muqing sighed. At present, they were bound to lose. Ouyang Wushuang didn't say much. He immediately sent out scouts to inquire about the news of Ouyang Wudao's army. For a few days, news about Ouyang Wudao kept coming. These days, Ouyang Wudao and Ouyang Wuji's army were stationed in the barracks without any unusual movements. In Ouyang Wudao's military tent, they were also discussing the military situation. First prince, these days the ninth prince constantly sent scouts to our area to inquire about our situation. I'm afraid he'll take action, a person reported to Ouyang Wudao. In my opinion, the ninth prince wants to sneak up on us, a genius from the Daoyuo Heaven sect said. Sneak up on us? Haha, that's just right. Ninth prince, you're too impulsive. Ha. Ouyang Wudao laughed. In the blink of an eye, the three sides were in a deadlock for 7 days. Late at night on the 7th day, Ouyang Wushuang sent a confidant to lead an army of 25,000 quietly to Ouyang Wudao's barracks. In the dead of night, Ouyang Wushuang's army came to a place not far from the first prince's barracks. From afar, it seemed to be very peaceful. Some people were resting and some were patrolling. Charge! The commander was a confidant of Ouyang Wushuang, called Luan Fei. At this time, he waved his hand, and the army rushed to the first prince's barracks at full speed. Oh no, enemy attack! The patrolling people saw the army and their faces changed drastically. They shouted, "Kill!" Luan Fei shouted, and led the army to rush over. The patrolling people were killed and turned into rays of light and disappeared. In the formation world, once you were killed, you would leave here. Before the end of the competition, you could not enter the formation world for the second time. Charge in! Luan Fei shouted, and led the army to rush into the first prince's barracks. Terrifying attacks gathered together and blasted toward the tents. If there were people in the tents, they would definitely be smashed into pieces. Boom! Boom! The tents were blasted, but there was no one inside. Oh no, we've been tricked. Retreat! Luan Fei's face changed drastically and he shouted. It's too late to find out now. Kill! The first prince appeared in the sky and gave the order. Whoosh! 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 Under the ground, endless sword chi burst out and slashed toward Ouyang Wushuang's army. At the same time, endless attacks came down from the sky and blasted toward the army. Suddenly, screams were heard. Large groups of soldiers were killed. In the blink of an eye, thousands of people were killed. Kill! Chapter 1837. Set up the formation. Set up the formation. Luan Fei roared, gathering the army to set up the Sky Tiger Roar formation. Stop them! Ouyang Wudao's voice rang out again. Roar! Roar! Terrifying roars rang out as Ouyang Wudao's army also set up the formation. In the sky, a huge phoenix spread its wings and flew down, pouncing on Ouyang Wushuang's army. At the same time, the ground rumbled as a huge black tortoise appeared. With a slap of its palm, a large group of people were sent flying. As long as they were killed, they would turn into rays of light and fly into the sky, disappearing from the world. At the same time, roars could be heard from both sides. An azure dragon and a white tiger rushed over. Four symbols formation. Luan Fei's face turned pale. The four symbols formation was a terrifying formation. When the army combined, it formed the four symbols of heaven and earth. When gathered together, its power was terrifying. It was much stronger than the Sky Tiger Roar formation. With the appearance of the four symbols, Ouyang Wushuang's army was completely separated. It was difficult for them to gather together. Set up the formation. Set up the formation. The heavenly tigers roared endlessly. The separated army laid the heavenly tiger sky roaring formation. Immediately, more than 10 heavenly tigers appeared. However, the army had been split up, and everyone was fighting for themselves. The heavenly tiger roaring sky formation was much weaker, and was completely suppressed by the four divisions formation. The phoenix spread its wings and clawed down, crushing a sky tiger. The soldiers who formed the Sky Tiger Roar formation screamed as many of them were killed, turning into rays of light and disappearing. Even more people were injured. However, the formation was broken, and it was even harder to stop. The phoenix opened its mouth and terrifying flames spread out. Large groups of soldiers were turned into ashes in the flames, turning into rays of light and disappearing. On the other side, the Azure Dragon, Black Tortoise, and White Tiger were in the same situation. They were completely suppressing and harvesting lives. In a moment, dense rays of light rushed into the sky. It was incomparably bright. Damn it! Luan Fei roared and tried his best to attack. Unfortunately, it was useless. They were surrounded and could only be killed. In less than half an hour, the 25,000 soldiers were all killed. Luan Fei was the same. He turned into a ray of light and disappeared. Ouyang Wudao's army only lost 2,000 men. Reporting to the first prince, Ouyang Wushuang is not in the army. Someone reported to the first prince. How many did you kill? Ouyang Wudao asked. More than 25,000 people. Ah, good. Even if Old Ninth isn't dead, he's crippled. There are only a few thousand people left. In this round, he can only be a spectator. Ouyang Wudao laughed heartily. In the array world, there would definitely be cultivators from the Shenyuan Empire paying attention. In this battle, he had annihilated Ouyang Wushuang's army of 25,000 and seized the initiative. Next, even if he didn't fight, he would still be able to obtain victory in this stalemate. He was Ouyang Wudao. He wanted to win beautifully. He wanted to obtain the position of crown prince in a crushing manner and intimidate the entire Shenyuan Empire. The army will rest and reorganize before setting off to take down Ouyang Wushuang's barracks in one fell swoop. Ouyang Wudao ordered. The experts who were paying attention to this place would definitely give them a rating. The greater the advantage they had, the higher their rating would be. However, he didn't notice that in the distant sky, there were two figures paying attention to this place. These two people were Lu Ming and Ouyang Wushuang. The plan is going smoothly. Next, Ouyang Wudao will definitely send his army to occupy our barracks. Let's go back and withdraw. Lu Ming said. All right, let's go. Ouyang Wushuang nodded and the two left. Once back in the barracks, Ouyang Wushuang gathered the remaining 5,000 soldiers and left the barracks, heading to a place further away. There was a very well-hidden valley there. If the 5,000 soldiers didn't pay attention, it would be difficult to discover them. In the valley, in a temporary cave, Ouyang Wushuang, Lu Ming, and the others gathered to discuss the military situation. I've said before that the plan won't work. Unfortunately, the 9th prince didn't listen to me. Now the 25,000 soldiers have been annihilated. This round, we're bound to lose. Xiao Muqing sneered disdainfully. That's right. We have good intentions, but the 9th prince didn't listen. Instead, he used Lu Ming's plan. Now that we've lost, who should be responsible? This round was originally our chance. Everyone's strength is almost the same. If we win, we'll have a chance in the next few rounds. If the first prince wins the first round, he will have the help of the Daluo Heaven Sex geniuses. We'll have almost no chance of winning. The geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa spoke one after another, mocking and ridiculing Lu Ming. It's not the end yet. Are you so sure that we're going to lose? Lu Ming glanced at them casually and said lightly. Now there are only about 5,000 people left. How can we compete with the other two parties? Moreover, we've even lost the barracks. If there's no accident, we'll definitely be the last in this round. Xiao Muqing sneered. Oh, in that case, how about we make a bet? Lu Ming said. Bet? How? What bet? Xiao Muqing's eyes flashed and asked. I bet that we'll definitely win this round. If I lose, I'll become your subordinate and obey your orders. How about that? Lu Ming said. These words caused everyone to reveal a look of shock. Lu Ming actually bet on himself. The geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa had a fiery light in their eyes. Lu Ming's talent was obvious to all. He had mastered the law of chaos and was extremely powerful. If he grew up in the future, he would definitely become a terrible expert. If such a person obeyed them, it would be an irresistible temptation. Okay, we agree. Xiao Muqing agreed directly. Don't agree too quickly. I haven't told you the conditions of losing. If you lose, you'll have to obey me. At least for the next 50 years, you'll have to obey me unconditionally. How about that? Lu Ming said. We won't lose at all. Xiao Muqing said. Nonsense. Since it's a bet, there must be a winner and a loser. Both of us have to take a blood oath. If we lose, we'll have to obey each other's orders. Lu Ming added. The eyes of the geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa flickered. In the end, they reached a consensus and nodded at each other. Okay, we agree. Xiao Muqing said. They couldn't think of any way to win this round. Based on the current situation, they were bound to lose. They were no match for Ouyang Wudao and Ouyang Wuji. If they could get Lu Ming to serve them, why not? Immediately, Lu Ming and the geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa made a blood oath and set the bet. Lu Ming sneered. The geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa were very strong. Each of them had a medium heaven spiritual body. They had great potential and wouldn't be weak in the future. Chapter 1838. All right, let's analyze the situation. After swearing the blood oath, Lu Ming ignored the people from Purple Flame Villa. He waved his hand and a map appeared in the sky. There were 3 light spots in the 3 corners of the map, representing the 3 camps. Their current location was quite a distance away from their own military camp. I believe that Ouyang Wudao will soon send his army to occupy our camp. That way, Ouyang Wudao will have the absolute advantage. Even if this stalemate continues, Ouyang Wudao will still win. However, this is not what Ouyang Wuji wants to see. If he wants to compete with Ouyang Wudao, he must have a certain battle record. Therefore, Ouyang Wuji will not give up on our camp. If he can get a camp, his score will be very high. Lu Ming explained. Everyone listened carefully. But with Ouyang Wudao's tyrannical personality, how would he hand over the fat meat that is already in his mouth? And now, without our threat, in their eyes, we are only struggling at death's door. So, in the end they will definitely engage in a decisive battle in our camp, and we will be able to reap the benefits. When both sides are injured, we can annihilate them in one fell swoop. Lu Ming explained the entire plan. Previously, the sacrifice of more than 20,000 people was to let the other 2 sides let down their guard. This way, the other 2 sides would be able to fight. All of this is just your speculation. Speculation is perfect, reality is cruel. Xiao Muqing sneered. Is that so? Next, let's just watch the show. 9th Prince, during this period, just send out scouts to observe the situation outside. Lu Ming said. Alright. Ouyang Wushuang nodded and sent out scouts to gather information. Sure enough, not long after, Ouyang Wudao led his army and occupied their camp. Old 9th ran pretty fast. However, there are only a few thousand people left. They are nothing to worry about. They are just struggling at death's door. In the camp, Ouyang Wudao said disdainfully. The news of the battle between Ouyang Wudao and Ouyang Wushuang soon reached Ouyang Wuji. In Ouyang Wuji's camp, everyone was also discussing. Ouyang Wushuang is really stupid. He actually went to attack Ouyang Wudao and was annihilated in the end. This way, Ouyang Wudao gained the upper hand. Damn it. Ouyang Wuji said unhappily. 6th Prince, what should we do next? Someone asked. Right now, Ouyang Wushuang is only left with a few thousand men. He abandoned the camp and fled. He's just struggling at death's door. The last place will belong to him. There's nothing to worry about. And now, Ouyang Wudao has annihilated Ouyang Wushuang's army of 25,000 and occupied Ouyang Wushuang's camp. If this continues, the first place will be his. Therefore, we cannot give up on Ouyang Wushuang's camp. As long as we take over the barracks, we will be able to compete with Ouyang Wudao in terms of battle merits. Moreover, we have the advantage in numbers. Only then will we have a chance to win against Ouyang Wudao and take first place. Ouyang Wuji said. That's right. I suggest that we immediately send out an army and capture Ouyang Wushuang's barracks in one fell swoop. A sky pride from the only sacred palace nodded. Immediately, Ouyang Wuji mobilized almost all of his army, leaving only a few thousand men to guard the barracks. The rest of the army headed towards Ouyang Wushuang's barracks. Not long after, Ouyang Wuji led his army to a place not far from the barracks. Dong! Dong! The sound of war drums could be heard in the barracks. Then a purple army walked through the air. The leader was Ouyang Wudao. "Sixth brother, I knew that you would come," Ouyang Wudao said. "Is that so? It's a pity that you only have a portion of your men in this barracks. As long as I annihilate all of you and take over the barracks, the final victory will belong to me." Ouyang Wuji sneered, his eyes blazing. "Is that so?" Ouyang Wudao smirked. He waved his hand, and the war drums sounded again. Roar! Roar! Behind Ouyang Wuji's army, roars could be heard. A white tiger and a black tortoise appeared in the air. Behind Ouyang Wudao, the army set up a great formation. An azure dragon and a phoenix appeared. The four symbols great formation. "You brought everyone here." Ouyang Wuji's face changed. "That's right. Let's annihilate all of your men here. Kill." Ouyang Wudao gave the order. "Set up the formation." Ouyang Wuji also gave the order. Suddenly, Ouyang Wuji's army set up a great formation. A huge praying mantis appeared. This was the praying mantis battle formation. The two front claws of the praying mantis were as sharp as blades. "Kill! Kill!" Battle cries shook the sky. The azure dragon, black tortoise, white tiger, and phoenix pounced on the huge praying mantis. The huge praying mantis waved its front claws as if it could cut through the void. The five giant beasts clashed continuously. Although the four symbols' great formation was powerful, it divided the number of people. On the other hand, Ouyang Wuji had close to 30,000 people. The great formation was very powerful. It was hard to determine the winner in a short period of time. Both sides were trying their best to defeat the other. Ouyang Wushuang was no longer a concern. As long as both sides defeated each other, they would gain the upper hand and take the first place. Both sides fought fiercely. Even in the midst of the battle, there were still people dying, turning into light and disappearing. At this moment, in a hidden valley, a 5,000-man army was gathered. They were ready to set off, and the scouts were constantly sending in news. "Report, the first prince has taken over our camp." "Report, the sixth prince has sent an army to attack our camp." "Report, the sixth prince and the first prince have started a fierce battle." As the news came in, the faces of the Purple Flame Villa's sky prides turned uglier. This was because everything was exactly the same as Lu Ming's previous speculation. Even if the first prince and the sixth prince attack each other and both sides are injured, we only have 5,000 people left. We don't have the strength to deal with them. Xiao Muqing said with a sullen face. So what if Lu Ming's prediction was correct? In the end, they still had to rely on their own strength. They only had 5,000 people, and it was impossible to deal with the battle. "We will know the result soon. What's the hurry?" Lu Ming said casually. His expression gave the sky prides of the Purple Flame Villa a bad feeling. Could it be that Lu Ming was really confident? Was there something that they didn't know? The battle between Ouyang Wudao and Ouyang Wuji was getting more and more intense. Both sides were in a frenzy, constantly killing each other's soldiers. Ouyang Wudao had lost about 2,000 men, while Ouyang Wuji had left a portion of his men in the camp. Chapter 1839. Both sides fought fiercely for half an hour. Ouyang Wuji's side was gradually losing ground. Ouyang Wudao began to suppress them. In the end, both sides' battle formations collapsed, and it became a chaotic battle. However, Ouyang Wudao's side had the advantage in terms of numbers. "Kill!" Suddenly, battle cries came from behind. Thousands of soldiers wearing silver-white battle armor were charging over. They were the thousands of soldiers that Ouyang Wuji had left behind to guard the barracks. He had mobilized all of them. With the addition of thousands of new soldiers, Ouyang Wuji regained his footing, and both sides entered another intense battle. On the battlefield, rays of light shot up into the sky. The number of people on both sides decreased. Slowly, the number of people on both sides decreased to 10,000, then 8,000, then 7,000. When the number of people decreased to 5,000, both sides finally stopped the battle and slowly retreated. "Sixth brother, I've won the first round," Ouyang Wudao said. He had won the first round with his battle merits. Ouyang Wuji was somewhat unwilling, But he knew that he could not win against Ouyang Wudao in this round. However, he could at least get second place. Although he only had 5,000 people left, he had killed a large number of Ouyang Wudao's soldiers. His battle merits were far above Ouyang Wushuang's. If he could get second place, he might have a chance to win the next 2 rounds. Roar! At this moment, a loud roar shook the sky. The sound came from behind Ouyang Wuji's army. Ouyang Wuji turned around and his expression changed. He saw a black torrent rushing towards him. Ouyang Wushuang, humph, he wants to take advantage of the situation. Big brother, why don't we work together and destroy his hopes? Ouyang Wuji sneered. Alright, since he wants to join in the fun, let's kill him. Ouyang Wudao said coldly. He and Ouyang Wuji each had 5,000 to 6,000 people. Together, they had more than 10,000 people. They could easily annihilate Ouyang Wuji's army. Dong! Dong! Ouyang Wudao and Ouyang Wuji's army charged towards Ouyang Wushuang from 2 different directions. The 3 different colored torrents were about to collide. Set up the formation. In the army, Ouyang Wushuang gave the order. Roar! Suddenly, the roar of a dragon resounded through the sky. A gigantic true dragon condensed in the middle of Ouyang Wushuang's army. This true dragon was blood-red and filled with cold killing intent. The true dragon charged towards Ouyang Wuji's army. You want to attack me? As long as I hold you back, I'll join forces with Ouyang Wudao to attack you. You'll die in an instant. Ouyang Wuji sneered. His army also formed a battle formation, and a praying mantis appeared. The blood-red dragon collided with the mantis. But the result made Ouyang Wuji pale with fright. This was because the result of the collision was the collapse of the mantis formation on his side. Many people were killed by the terrifying power, turning into light and disappearing. How could this be? Ouyang Wuji roared in disbelief. How could the opponent's battle formation be so powerful? The true dragon battle array is powerful to begin with, and the enemy has just gone through a fierce battle. His Zhen Yuan is exhausted, and his battle strength is less than half of his peak. How can he fight against the true dragon battle array? In the army, Lu Ming sneered. If the enemy was at their peak and had the same number of people, no matter how powerful the true dragon battle array was, it would not be able to crush them. But now the enemy was exhausted and could completely crush them. Dragon roars echoed as the blood-red dragon claw slashed out. Ouyang Wuji's army was killed in large numbers, turning into light and disappearing. At this moment, Ouyang Wudao's army also charged over. Roar! The blood-red dragon changed direction and charged towards Ouyang Wudao's army. Ouyang Wudao's army was also exhausted. Like Ouyang Wuji, after being attacked by the blood-red dragon, their battle formation also collapsed. Not good retreat. Ouyang Wudao roared. Kill! Ouyang Wushuang would not let go of this opportunity. He led his army to form a large formation and charged into Ouyang Wudao's army. Every time the massive true dragon attacked, a large number of soldiers would be killed. Ouyang Wuji, come and help. Ouyang Wudao roared. Retreat, retreat. At this moment, Ouyang Wuji could not care less about Ouyang Wudao. He gathered the remnants of his army and retreated. Damn it! We fell into a trap. Ouyang Wudao roared. At this moment, how could he not understand that he had fallen into a trap? Ouyang Wushuang actually had such a powerful battle formation, but his army did not cultivate it. Instead, they cultivated the heavenly tiger roaring sky formation. It was a trap from the beginning. The goal was to make him and Ouyang Wuji fight each other. What a terrifying plan. But at this moment, he was powerless to reverse the situation. The situation was similar to the last time he led his army to slaughter Ouyang Wushuang's army. Unfortunately, this time, he was the one being slaughtered. Ouyang Wushuang, I will wait for you in the next 2 rounds. The position of crown prince is mine. Ouyang Wudao roared. His body exploded under the blood-red dragon claw, turning into a ray of light and disappearing. Following Ouyang Wudao's death, Ouyang Wudao's army was also completely annihilated. Go and kill Ouyang Wuji. Ouyang Wushuang roared and his army chased after Ouyang Wuji's army. Ouyang Wuji led his army to escape. Unfortunately, they were exhausted and could not escape. Lu Ming caught up with them and annihilated them. In the end, Ouyang Wushuang's army was only left with 3,000 people. But in the end, they won and annihilated the other two forces. Without a doubt, the winner of this competition was Ouyang Wushuang. How could this be? The sky prides of the Purple Flame Villa were pale. Although Ouyang Wushuang had won, their hearts had sunk to the bottom. Because they had lost the bet, they would have to listen to Lu Ming's orders for the next 50 years. They had sworn a blood oath. If they did not obey, they would be surrounded by their inner demons. It would be difficult for their cultivation to progress, and they might even go berserk. You have lost. Do you know what to do now? Lu Ming looked at the sky prides of the Purple Flame Villa. The sky prides of the Purple Flame Villa had ugly expressions. But in the end, they did not dare to go against their oath. They lowered their arrogant heads and bowed to Lu Ming. They understood that they had been tricked by Lu Ming. It turned out that Lu Ming and Ouyang Wushuang had secretly trained another group of troops using other battle formations. No wonder Ouyang Wushuang had always obeyed Lu Ming. They had clearly dug a hole for them to jump into, but they had jumped into it. 50 years will pass in the blink of an eye. I will endure it for now. After 50 years, I will kill Lu Ming to vent my anger. Xiao Muqing comforted himself. The other sky prides of the Purple Flame Villa had similar thoughts. After that, they left the Array world. Indeed, not long after, the upper echelons of the Xinyuan Empire announced the results of this test. Chapter 1840. Ouyang Wushuang had wiped out the other two parties, so he was undoubtedly the first. Ouyang Wudao was ranked second because he had killed more than 20,000 people of Ouyang Wushuang and fought with Ouyang Wuji. Ouyang Wuji was naturally the last. After the announcement of the ranking, it was announced that the second round would be held in 3 days. Bang! In Ouyang Wudao's mansion, he slammed his palm heavily and a stone table was reduced to ashes. This time, he only got the second place. His original goal was to be the first in all 3 rounds, and win the position of Crown Prince with a crushing advantage. Don't worry, the first prince. The second and third rounds depend on battle strength. We will help the first prince win 2 rounds in a row. The position of Crown Prince belongs to the first prince. A genius from the Daoyuo Heaven sect said with a confident look. In the first round they were not very good at leading the army, and they could not use their advantage in battle strength. But in the next 2 rounds, they would definitely get the first place. In the next 2 rounds, I will make Ouyang Wushuang pay the price. Ouyang Wudao's eyes were cold. At the same time, in Ouyang Wuji's mansion, there was an angry roar of Ouyang Wuji. Ouyang Wushuang, I will make you pay the price. Ouyang Wuji roared. In the first round he got the 3rd place. The situation was extremely unfavorable for him. Unless he got the first place in the next 2 rounds, he would have no hope. 6th Prince, don't worry. The One Sanctum will help the 6th Prince to get the first place. Yu Ji, the genius from the One Sanctum, said. But Ouyang Wuji's face was gloomy and he did not speak. It was not easy to get the first place. The first prince had the help of the Daoyuo Heaven sect. But in Ouyang Wushuang's mansion, there was a celebration. Ouyang Wushuang got the first place in the first round, and occupied a favorable position. In the next 2 rounds, as long as he got the first place, the position of Crown Prince would belong to Ouyang Wushuang. And the people in Ouyang Wushuang's mansion would also have a meteoric rise, so they were naturally happy. And Lu Ming directly entered the mountain river diagram after he came back. Buzz, buzz. In the void of the mountain river diagram, a figure was flying. 6 vortexes were suspended in the void, bursting out terrible power, as if they could make everything escape into reincarnation. After a while, the 6 vortexes disappeared and a figure emerged. Master! Ouyang Moli appeared in front of Lu Ming and bowed. Your cultivation has reached the peak of Martial King. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. During this period of time, not only had Ouyang Moli consolidated his cultivation had also increased to the peak of the Martial King realm. This speed was simply astonishing. It was even faster than Lu Xiangxiang back then. Of course, this was because Ouyang Moli had obtained the world core of the reincarnation emperor. That was why his cultivation speed was so terrifying. Towards the end, his cultivation speed would gradually decrease, but it would definitely not slow down. Naturally, This was also due to Ouyang Moli's hard work. In the past, he was labeled as trash and was bullied by others for many years. Now that he had awakened his bloodline, he naturally put in more effort in his cultivation. Alright, your cultivation has stabilized. Let's go out for a walk, Lu Ming said. With a thought, he brought Ouyang Moli out of the mountain and river diagram, but secretly left a mark in Ouyang Moli's body. Thank you, master. Ouyang Moli bowed and left. His eyes flashed with a cold light. Now he was going to take revenge on those who had bullied him back then. An eye for an eye, an eye for an eye. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Of course, he knew that Ouyang Moli was going to find trouble with those who had bullied him back then, so he let Ouyang Moli go on purpose. A martial artist was particular about having a clear mind. Since he had been bullied, he naturally had to take revenge. Otherwise, if his mind was not clear, it would leave a knot in his heart. How could he cultivate in the future? Lu Ming sat cross-legged in his room and cultivated quietly. In the evening, Ouyang Moli came back. He had some minor injuries on his body, but his eyes were extremely bright, as if he was elated. Is it done? Lu Ming asked. It's done. But I only taught them a lesson, I didn't kill them. Ouyang Moli said. They don't deserve to die. It's enough to teach them a lesson. You should cultivate in the mountain and river diagram first. After some time, when this matter is over, I'll send you to a place. Lu Ming nodded and put Ouyang Moli back into the mountain and river diagram. In the blink of an eye, it was time for the second round of assessment. On this day, Ouyang Wushuang brought Lu Ming, Long Chun, Huangling, and the geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa to a square. Not long after they arrived, a group of people walked in the air. The leader was a burly man with a domineering gaze. It was the first prince, Ouyang Wudao. Beside him, there were more than a dozen geniuses. Each of them had a strong aura, and their qi and blood were boiling. Apparently, they were all powerful geniuses. Most of them were geniuses of the Daoyuo Heaven sect. Ninth brother, you're early. But for the next 2 rounds, the first place is mine. Ouyang Wudao said confidently and domineeringly. Eldest brother, let's see who wins and who loses. Ouyang Wushuang said lightly. Haha, ninth prince, with these people from the Purple Flame Villa? Where does your confidence come from? Beside the first prince, a young man in a white robe said with slight disdain. Bai Mu, Xiao Muqing and the others from the Purple Flame Villa looked pale. But when they looked at the young man in a white robe, fear flashed in their eyes. At this time, another group of people walked in the air. It was Ouyang Wuji, the Soul Sanctum, Mo Lang, and the second prince of the Golden Crow. Ouyang Wuji looked gloomy. He glanced at Ouyang Wushuang and said nothing. Mid-Autumn Moon. Lu Ming saw Mid-Autumn Moon in the crowd. Mid-Autumn Moon seemed to have regained her composure. She glanced at Lu Ming indifferently. What happened to Mid-Autumn Moon? Did she really lose her memory? Lu Ming could not figure it out no matter how hard he thought. He planned to go to the Soul Sanctum after Ouyang Wushuang's matter was settled. He wanted to know what had happened to Mid-Autumn Moon. At this time, a few elders walked in the air and stood in the air. Greetings, clan elders. Ouyang Wudao, Ouyang Wuji, and Ouyang Wushuang quickly bowed. The others also bowed. The clan elders of the Divine Origin Empire were definitely martial emperors. One of the elders waved his hand, and a huge warship appeared in the air. It was huge and covered a large area. Get on the warship. The second round of the assessment is not in the ancient sun sacred ground. One of the elders said. Not in the ancient sun sacred ground. Many people were surprised. If the second round of the assessment was not in the ancient sun sacred ground, where would it be? Without much thought, everyone stepped onto the warship. Then the warship broke through the air and flew away. The warship was controlled by a martial emperor, and its speed was amazing. Soon, it was out of the ancient sun sacred ground and headed north. Are we going to the land of infinite demons? Chapter 1841. The ancient moon sacred ground and the ancient sun sacred ground were located at the edge of the Yuan mountain of the 10 lands of the Yuan realm. The ancient moon sacred ground was close to the south, and the southernmost part was the endless ocean. The ancient sun sacred ground was close to the north, and it was one of the 10 lands of the Yuan realm, the land of all devils. The land of all devils was a sacred ground for demon cultivation. It was filled with countless demon cultivators, and even the ancient demon clan. Its overall strength was stronger than the Yuan mountain. After flying for half a day, a faint demon chi began to appear between heaven and earth. They had arrived at the border between the Yuan mountain and the land of all devils. At this moment, the warship stopped. Many people secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, they were not entering the land of all devils. There were countless demon cultivators in the land of all devils, and even the ancient demon clan, who were overbearing. If they entered, they would be in danger. If they encountered the ancient demon clan, they would be hunted down directly. There is a sect in front, called the Blood Soul sect. This sect's cultivation method is cruel. They secretly cultivate with the blood and soul of ordinary people. Many ordinary people have died in their hands. However, this sect isn't very strong. The strongest ones are absolute saints in the Great Achievement realm, and there are some absolute saints in the Small Achievement realm. Some of our monarch experts secretly infiltrated this sect and left a mark on 12 of them. Your mission is to get those marks, no matter what method you use. An old man explained. After that he waved his hand, and crystal balls appeared in the air. These crystal balls then flew to everyone, one for each person. Take this crystal ball. As long as you are within 1,000 meters, you will be able to sense the existence of the imprint. Furthermore, as long as you kill the person with the imprint, the crystal ball will automatically absorb the imprint. Remember, only the person who kills can obtain the imprint. It belongs to whoever kills. In the end, the side that obtains the most imprints will be the winner. The old man continued to explain. There are 12 marks in total. Everyone was shocked. There were 12 marks in total, so each mark was very precious and could determine the outcome. Now you can go no matter what method you use. The old man ordered again. The strongest is the Great Saint realm. Then let's kill our way in. Let's go. Ouyang Wudao's eyes flashed with a ferocious look. He was the first to fly into the mountain gate of the Blood Soul sect, followed by the Daoyuo Heaven sect. Who is it? Ouyang Wudao and the others rushed over. Naturally, they were discovered. Immediately someone shouted, "Kill the people who killed you." Ouyang Wudao roared and threw out a punch. The people in front of him were killed instantly. Ouyang Wudao and the geniuses of the Daoyuo Heaven sect rushed into the Blood Soul sect like a sharp knife. They charged straight in. Ouyang Wushuang frowned. At first, they wanted to sneak in secretly, use the crystal ball to sense the imprint, and then secretly seize the imprint. However, with Ouyang Wudao's interference, it was impossible to sneak in secretly. "We'll kill our way in from the other side," Lu Ming said. Then they rushed to the right from the other side of the Blood Soul sect. Ouyang Wuji led his men and rushed over from the left. Now he had no idea who the imprint was on, so he could only try his luck. The Blood Soul mountain had more than a dozen mountains. It covered a vast area and had tens of thousands of disciples. However, at that moment, the entire Blood Soul sect was in an uproar. Someone was attacking the Blood Soul sect. Whoosh! Whoosh! From the dozens of mountains of the Blood Soul sect, silhouettes soared into the sky and flew in all directions. There are enemies here. Someone discovered Lu Ming and the others. Suddenly, a large number of silhouettes rushed toward Lu Ming and the others. All kinds of terrible attacks were launched toward Lu Ming and the others. However, there were no absolute saints among them. The strongest were supreme saints. How could they be a match for Lu Ming and the others? Lu Ming and the others rushed through, and a large number of corpses fell to the ground. In an instant, they had killed hundreds of people. They did not stop and rushed into the depths of the Blood Soul sect. Wherever they passed, no one could stop them. At that moment, they found that their crystal balls were flashing. There's an imprint within 1,000 meters. Everyone was delighted. Over there. Someone pointed ahead. Not far away, there was a group of people. Among them, a burly man had an imprint on his body. This kind of imprint would only appear when it was connected to the crystal ball. Normally, it could not be seen. "Kill them!" The burly man roared. The group of people rushed toward Lu Ming and the others. Many of them were supreme saints. The burly man was even a perfected supreme saint. Light spots appeared on Lu Ming's body. More than 100 saint weapons flew out, turning into bright lights that attacked the burly man. Puff, puff. No one was a match for him. Wherever the saint weapons passed, the experts of the Blood Soul sect were killed. How can he be so strong? Retreat. The burly man turned pale with fright. He wanted to retreat, but Lu Ming took a step forward and appeared behind him. He slashed with the holy weapon in his hand, and the burly man spat out a mouthful of blood. Ninth Prince, I'll leave this person to you, Lu Ming said. Although it was the same no matter who got the imprint, it would undoubtedly be more important if Ouyang Wushuang got it. In the eyes of the elders of the Shenyuan Empire, Ouyang Wushuang would have a better impression. Therefore, those who could be killed by Ouyang Wushuang should be killed by him. Boom. Ouyang Wushuang stepped forward and sent out a palm strike. Heaven and earth were in chaos. The terrifying palm force broke through all of the burly man's attacks and defenses. The burly man didn't even have time to scream before his body was torn apart. Ouyang Wushuang's talent was absolutely terrifying. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to become a silver successor of the Hunyuan sect. As soon as the burly man died, an imprint flew out and flew into Ouyang Wushuang's crystal ball. The first imprint was a good start. Then the group continued to rush into the depths of the Blood Soul sect. The Blood Soul sect was in chaos. There were shouts of killing everywhere. When Lu Ming and the others rushed over a mountain, the crystal ball reacted again. Another imprint appeared. It's that old man. Someone shouted. They saw a thin old man with an imprint on his body. When the old man saw the group, his face changed drastically. He rushed into the ground and disappeared. Not good. He wants to escape through the ground. Someone's face changed. Leave it to me. Lu Ming also rushed into the ground. The law of primal chaos transformed into the law of earth. The ground was like water. Lu Ming rushed in and disappeared. Not long after, Lu Ming rushed out of the ground again. There was an additional imprint in the crystal ball in his hand. Then the group continued to set off. Chapter 1842. Not long after, they found another young man with a mark on him. This young man didn't fight at all when he saw Lu Ming and the others. He turned around and ran. This person's movement technique was very special. He turned into bloody shadows and flew in all directions. It was impossible to tell which was real and which was fake. Kill. Ouyang Wushuang, Long Chun, and the prodigies of the Purple Flame Villa yelled. Their terrifying attacks covered the front, and the bloody shadows that the young man cast were all scattered. The young man was shocked and ran like crazy. However, his speed couldn't be compared to Lu Ming and the others. He was about to be killed. Boom. Suddenly, a huge bloody handprint fell from the sky and slammed toward them. Leave it to me, Absolute Saint. A prodigy of the Purple Flame Villa at the peak of the Supreme Saint realm soared into the sky. Flames spread out, and his hand seemed to be holding a huge meteorite as he slammed it toward the bloody handprint. With a loud boom, the meteorite and the bloody handprint collided and disappeared. An elder in a blood-red robe appeared in the sky. He looked at the prodigy of the Purple Flame Villa with a serious expression. A prodigy of the Supreme Saint realm at the peak of the Supreme Saint realm was actually able to fight against him. Who are you? Why are you attacking the Blood Soul sect? The elder in the blood-red robe asked. You've done all kinds of evil and should be punished. Today is the day you die. The other prodigies of the Purple Flame Villa stepped forward and surrounded the Absolute Saint. Shocking flames spread out from their bodies as they attacked the Absolute Saint. The Absolute Saint was completely at a disadvantage and was in danger. These prodigies of the Purple Flame Villa all had mid-level spiritual bodies. Once they reached the peak of the Supreme Saint realm, they would have no problem fighting against an ordinary Absolute Saint in the initial stage. Moreover, they were working together. Lu Ming, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others charged toward the young man. Without any suspense, the young man was killed by Ouyang Wushuang, and they obtained 3 marks. As for the Absolute Saint, he was also killed by a few prodigies from the Purple Flame Villa. Then they continued to search. Unfortunately, their luck seemed to have run out. They went over a few mountains and killed a few absolute saints along the way, but they still didn't find the fourth mark. Brother Lu Ming, there's someone there. Chirp chirp. At this moment, Bubbles pointed at a small hill and said softly. Lu Ming looked over. That small hill looked very ordinary. There was nothing unusual about it, and he could not sense any signs of life from it. However, Bubble controlled the laws of space and time, and could cross space to sense someone. There should be no mistake. Lu Ming threw a punch and a fist force blasted toward the small hill. The small hill exploded directly. Smoke and dust filled the air. An old man could be seen flying into the distance in a panic. At this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out in front of them. Everyone looked over, and their expressions changed. The people in front were Ouyang Wuji and the geniuses he had brought with him. He has a mark on him. Kill him. Ouyang Wuji also noticed the mark on the old man's body. He roared and charged toward the old man. The old man's eyes were filled with despair. Oh no! Ouyang Wuji wants to snatch it from us. One of the Purple Flame Villa's geniuses looked terrible. Bubbles, stop them. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Bubbles. Leave it to me. Bubbles flew out. She waved her hand and ripples appeared in the air. Ouyang Wuji and the others were flying, but they suddenly stopped as if they had hit a wall. Damn it. Spatial laws. Break it. Ouyang Wuji roared and unleashed a terrifying attack towards the space in front of him. But the space also contained the laws of time. Their attacks could only make the space tremble. They couldn't break it for a while. Lu Ming, the ninth prince, and the others charged toward the old man. Chaotic Calamity Finger. Lu Ming pointed with his finger. A terrifying finger formed and crushed toward the old man. The old man's body emitted a black aura that formed an evil ghost. It pounced toward the Chaotic Calamity Finger, but the evil ghost collapsed. The old man's body shook and he was forced to retreat. Chaotic Heaven and Earth. Ouyang Wuxia attacked with his palms. Everything became chaotic. A terrifying palm energy blasted toward the old man. They didn't show any mercy. From top to bottom, the Blood Soul sect had cultivated with the blood souls of ordinary people. It was unknown just how many people had died at their hands. Ouyang Wuxia's palm energy almost tore the old man's body apart. He vomited blood and was severely injured. What powerful battle strength. He has a high-class spiritual body and one of the laws of King, the chaotic laws. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Ouyang Wuxia's cultivation was at the peak of the Supreme Saint realm, but his battle strength was shocking. His spiritual body was a high-class spiritual body, and he could control the laws of King. No wonder he could become a silver inheritor of the Hunyuan sect. Damn it, hurry up and attack. On the other side, Ouyang Wuxia roared. If the old man was killed by Ouyang Wuxia or Lu Ming, they wouldn't have a share. Ice seal. A delicate shout rang out. A terrifying chill filled the air, as if it was going to freeze everything. It was the autumn moon. At this moment, the autumn moon seemed to have turned into an ice goddess. She was wearing a white dress. In her hand was a curved blade that emitted a terrifying chill. When the curved blade slashed out, even the space was frozen, turning into ice crystals that were about to shatter. Brother Lu Ming, you guys can do it. I can't hold on any longer. Chirp chirp. Bubbles cried out. It was too difficult for her to block so many experts alone. Chaotic Calamity Finger. Lu Ming blasted out another finger. This time, Lu Ming used almost all his strength. The old man tried his best to resist, but the finger energy still crushed him. He vomited a large mouthful of blood, and his bones cracked. It was unknown how many bones were broken. Then the attacks of Ouyang Wuxia, Long Chun and the others arrived. Facing the attacks of so many geniuses, the old man couldn't resist at all. He screamed and turned into ashes under the various attacks. A mark flew out and flew into Ouyang Wuxia's crystal ball. The fourth mark. Bubbles, back off. Lu Ming transmitted to Bubbles. Then Bubbles' figure flashed and flew back to Lu Ming's shoulder. Ouyang Wuxia, you're courting death. Ouyang Wuji roared, his eyes red. There were only 12 marks in total, and each one was very precious. Now that he saw Ouyang Wuxia get one, he was angry. Let's go. Chapter 1843. This round was mainly about finding and obtaining the seals. Since Ouyang Wuji had already obtained the seals, he wouldn't be able to get them even if he killed him. Hence, there was no need to fight Ouyang Wuji head-on. Ouyang Wushuang and Lu Ming. Ouyang Wuji's face was extremely cold. The little girl was following Lu Ming and blocked them with the law of space. Otherwise, Ouyang Wushuang wouldn't have been able to obtain the seals. I saw that Ouyang Wushuang already has 3 seals. Lu Ming also has 1. Yuji walked to Ouyang Wuji's side and said. This made Ouyang Wuji's face turn even uglier. Ouyang Wushuang and the others had already obtained 4 seals. 12 seals occupied 1/3 of the total, while they only had 2 seals. If they had obtained the first seal, they might have been able to fight for it. But now it was difficult. If he lost this round, he would have no chance of becoming the crown prince. I wonder how many seals Ouyang Wudao has obtained? Someone asked. Let's continue to search. Let's go. Ouyang Wuji suppressed his anger and led the group in another direction. Not long after, they encountered a person with a seal. His cultivation was at the lesser absolute saint realm, but he was soon severely injured and half-dead under their joint attack. Don't kill him yet. Destroy his cultivation, Ouyang Wuji said. Then he destroyed his opponent's cultivation. Why not kill him? Someone asked. Let's keep him first. We'll decide later based on the situation. Ouyang Wuji's eyes flashed coldly. Then he kept the person in his Grotto Heaven treasure. Although Grotto Heaven treasures were precious, they naturally didn't lack them since they came from powerful forces. After keeping it, they continued to search. Lu Ming and the others were also searching. However, after obtaining the 4th seal, they didn't find anyone with a seal. There were 12 seals in total. As time passed, there would be fewer and fewer seals. It would be harder to find one. Could it be that there are no more seals? Someone said. No. If all 12 seals have been obtained, the elders will definitely remind us. They won't let us keep searching like this, Ouyang Wushuang said. Then the group continued to search. At this moment, the Blood Soul sect was in complete chaos. Many experts had been killed. Some of the weaker ones were running or hiding. This made Lu Ming sigh. If the Blood Soul sect was placed in the Tsang province, it would be stronger than any of the 13 top forces in the Tsang province. The Blood Soul sect had at least a dozen absolute saints. Such a powerful force had been destroyed because of a test from the Xinyuan Empire. The world of martial arts was like this. The strong lived, and the weak died. The strong could decide the life and death of the weak with a single word. Therefore, countless people cultivated with all their might, and went to dangerous places to take risks, doing everything they could to increase their strength. Only with great power could one control their own fate, and even the fate of others. Boom. Boom. Suddenly, intense rumbling came from the front. Terrifying rays of light shot into the sky, incomparably intense. Someone was fighting a great battle. Let's go take a look. Ouyang Wushuang transmitted his voice to everyone. Then everyone retracted their auras and moved forward. They climbed up a large mountain and used huge rocks to hide their bodies as they looked forward. Up ahead, a group of people were besieging a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man's cultivation was terrifying. He had reached the great accomplishment of the Supreme Saint realm. This was the first great perfection absolute saint they had met in the Blood Soul sect. The people besieging the middle-aged man were the crown prince, Ouyang Wudao, and the geniuses helping him. There were more than a dozen geniuses surrounding the middle-aged man. Among them, Ouyang Wudao and a white-robed youth were the strongest. The 2 of them were the main attackers, while the others supported them. Ouyang Wudao and the white-robed youth both have superior heaven spiritual bodies. Lu Ming's heart jumped. Ouyang Wudao and the white-robed youth by Mu both had superior heaven spiritual bodies. Their cultivation had reached the peak of the Supreme Saint realm. Although the laws they controlled weren't King Dao laws, they were still extremely powerful. The 2 of them worked together to fight the middle-aged man. With the help of the other geniuses, the middle-aged man was no match for them. He was at a disadvantage. It was only a matter of time before he was defeated. There's a mark on that person's body. Lu Ming's and the others' eyes lit up. What should we do? Ouyang Wudao and the people he brought are too strong. Someone asked. Ouyang Wudao and Bai Mu had amazing battle strength. Among them, except for Ouyang Wushuang, no one was a match for them. Although Lu Ming was strong, in the eyes of others he was no match for either of them. There were other geniuses from the Daoyuo Heaven sect. Almost all of them had middle-class heaven spiritual bodies, and their cultivation had reached the peak of the Supreme Saint realm. This force was too strong. They were no match for it. But they were unwilling to give up just like that. They now had 4 marks. If they could get 1 more, they would have 5 marks. Then they would have a greater chance of winning the first place. If they won the first place in this round, there would be no need to compete in the 3rd round. Ouyang Wushuang would directly become the crown prince. Therefore this mark was very important. Who the hell are you? Why are you attacking the Blood Soul sect? The middle-aged man roared. At this time he was injured. It was only a matter of time before he was defeated. He was shocked and angry. He didn't understand where these people came from. These people were young, but their cultivation was amazing. Almost all of them were at the peak of the Supreme Saint realm, and the peak of the Supreme Saint realm. Moreover, their battle strength was amazing. Where did they come from? When did they offend such a group of people? Who are we? You are not qualified to know. Kill. Ouyang Wudao was extremely overbearing. His battle strength was extremely terrible. His violent attacks were like a storm. The other people's attacks were also directed at the middle-aged man. Although the middle-aged man tried his best to resist, there were still attacks falling on him. His body almost exploded, and he spat out blood. Oh no, he is going to be killed. The geniuses from the Purple Flame Villa changed their faces. Stay here and don't move. Leave this man to me. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Ouyang Wushuang and others. Then his body sank into the ground, and his aura was completely restrained. He quietly went to the battlefield. After a while, Lu Ming appeared below the battlefield. At this moment, the middle-aged man's injury was more serious. He could be killed at any time. Bubble, do it. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Bubble. Buzz. Bubble operated the space-time law. Lu Ming's body distorted like a wave and disappeared like a phantom. In the next moment, Lu Ming's figure appeared beside the middle-aged man. Who is it? Ouyang Wudao shouted when he saw Lu Ming suddenly appear. Whoosh. You're tuning in to the Limei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.